I can't tell you how many times we've inspected a home for a buyer, and there's been something big come up that the seller didn't know about.
Yeah.
The house gets taken off the market.
Yep.
Has to be off 6 months, repairs made,
Yep.
gets listed again. There's a year's worth of time that's lost to the seller.
This is Las Vegas Real Estate Now with local real estate expert Harvey Blankfeld.
You also, you do seller inspections too.
Yeah.
Like prior to, and is this where you discover some of these unusual things?
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit lately because it's become more common because it's been a buyer's market.
Yep.
I think that's starting to change a little bit from what we see.
It's there. Look, it's wavering, I'll say.
Yeah.
But it is still. I still think it's a good buyer's market now because there's still opportunities and there's still a lot of variety out there right now.
Yeah, and we're picking up in general, Joe. Though, just
which is great
across the board. We're here in March.
Me too.
We're just taking off. We're
Yep.
getting busy. So I think that portends for the year.
Yep.
But we have been doing a lot of as a seller, you can capture so much value and money by doing a pre-listing, pre-sale inspection.
Yep.
And I love some agents are so proactive. Some agents just include that in their package that they offer to prospective people listing their home.
Yeah.
Well, what are you really talking about there? Pre-listing,
Okay.
pre-sale inspection.
Right.
What is
so
this?
so what we're going to do, we're going to go in and we're going to do an inspection of the home prior to it being listed on the market. And I'm going to do it pretty much the same way I would for a buyer, maybe even a little pickier,
Tougher. Right.
little tougher.
Right. Sure.
Because we want to anticipate everything that's going to come up on their buyer's inspection.
right.
Okay.
Is what we're trying to do. So we want to head off anything big. So I can't tell you how many times we've inspected a home for a buyer, and there's been something big come up that the seller didn't know about.
Yeah.
The house gets taken off the market.
Yep.
Has to be off 6 months, repairs made,
Yep.
gets listed again. There's a year's worth of time that's lost to the seller.
It's a great point because you don't know what's happening in your attic, for instance. You've never been up there.
Roof problems,
Who
plumbing
knows?
problems,
Yeah.
all that. So if there is something big, if we can find out about it, head it off ahead of time, it can get dealt with prior to the home being listed on the market. So that's a big
Okay.
That's a big plus.
So cleanliness is one thing, and then doing the pre-inspection when you're a seller, I think is smart, particularly if you've been in the house for a long time. And we tend to get blinders on. You know, it's like we don't think about things. Oh, I just have to jiggle that switch, or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's just
that
the things
there
that we do
all the time. It's not a problem,
no big deal. I'm fine with
that
it.
door's never closed right.
Right. Yeah, that door doesn't close. These are the things that you need an inspector perhaps to point out to you that you can fix so the buyer doesn't start to deduct dollars from your price.
Right.
And we can cut way down on those little things.
Yeah.
So you can get all those little things on a list, knock them out, and then that way there's going to be far fewer things. So because I'll do a summary with a seller basically the same way I will with a buyer, where we go through things.
Nice.
And you'll just see people kind of start to wilt as you go through this stuff. Because they're like,
I can imagine.
It's like getting a report card.
And they're like,
that.
I didn't think you were going to see that.
But think how your buyer's going to react if they're standing there in your shoes, and now we're naming off 10, 15, 20 little things.
Yeah.
And it just becomes, there's a psychology to it because it becomes cumulative to where maybe those are $10 items, $20 items, $50 items, but they start to weigh on you,
Right.
And it changes the psychology of the buyer. So if you get all those dealt with ahead of time, and this could be things as simple as light bulbs, or you mentioned little switches that don't work.
Right.
Just get that punched out.
Light bulbs is one of my biggest peeves with a seller. I'll always tell a seller, listen, make sure all your light bulbs work. And it's almost a subconscious thing with a buyer. They come into a home and I think it's perfect for them, but then
they see a light bulb out and they're like,
yeah, something's not right. And in their mind, either consciously or subconsciously, they're thinking the seller never took care of this house,
right?
And that because that light bulb in the kitchen's out, that's a problem. So, and it's such an easy fix. Just change the light bulb.
The weight of 10 or 15 little things that could have been dealt with. So
great.
So I had a seller just did one this week for a seller, and she had a spot in her laundry room ceiling that she had repaired, and this is a 2-story house.
Okay.
So she showed it to me, and she said, I really thought there was a leak there, and I had the plumbers come in, and they cut out the drywall, and they checked everything from the upstairs bathroom. Couldn't find anything. Everything they said was normal. Put the drywall back. She said, I just want you to double check it before I do more to repair the drywall. So went upstairs, ran the tub, ran the shower, checked it with a thermal image. Sure enough, here's a spot of moisture. Not exactly where they cut out, but a little bit to the left of there.
Interesting.
There's a spot of moisture.
Wow.
So now she knows.
Good for her.
Don't fix the drywall yet. Go ahead, get the plumbing repair made, fix it all up.
Brilliant.
There's
because that could turn into a major mess in a hurry. A little leak sometimes becomes a big leak, and then all of a sudden you've got major water damage. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, what does that really look like from the real estate side of things when you go to sell this property? Is it a minor inconvenience? Is it affecting price in some substantial way? Like, how important or how much of an impact is this going to have in the typical transaction out there?
For me, the condition of the home, when I first see it, the condition of the home will kind of tell me to a certain extent what kind of pride the sellers have taken in taking care of their house. Have they done the periodic maintenance necessary to take care of the house so that it's unlikely there's issues? Doesn't always come to fruition that way, but you can have a general idea. The other thing is the seller's attitudes towards these things. I want to basically help them, and I would talk to them. I think Ben makes a great point. I can make a presentation on a listing presentation and talk to the seller about the idea. Hey, maybe we should do a pre-inspection to head off any potential problems down the road. And I like that. For the cost of an inspection, for several $100s is what it's going to be, to avoid that problem later, and to avoid the buyer having ever seen there was a problem.
Okay.
I think that's worth money.